Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our channel. We have changed our name a little bit. Instead of Champions Mind MMA, it's Champions Way MMA, but nothing else changes, guys. So tonight, I just only bring you, a couple of news and the headlines, and MMA in particular, and on combat sport in general. Because tonight we're going to talk about a boxing match coming up this Saturday, October 29th, between Anderson Silva and Jake Paul. So if you guys were not aware of that, so I'm just telling you, there's gonna be a great boxing match between, well, depends on how, if you want to call it that, between Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. So Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, is going to fight the one of the greatest to ever done it in MMA, if not the greatest, Anderson the Spider Silva. So I'm gonna be watching this fight, and I'm gonna be coming back after the fight to talk to you guys about it. So now, um, there's a little bit of controversy, and surrounding the fight right now. Apparently, Anderson Silva, during an interview, stated that he had been knocked out a couple of times during his last training session, and that kind of course, creates some concerns, among fans and and everybody. Even there's some rumors that the commission might be investigating to see whether it's true or not, because obviously, for fighter safety, if a fighter has been knocked out during training, and not let alone the last training session, that's concerning. So I read an article to where they say that the fight might even have been in jeopardy. But as of now, for the last time that I looked today, so everything is still on track. So we're supposed to be having this fight on this Saturday, unless something happened between now and Saturday. And also, Anderson Silva's trainer came back and vehemently denied that this ever took place at all. So we're not sure whether it's a language issue, with Anderson Silva. Obviously, just like me, his English is not his first language, so sometimes there's some barriers of describing things. So we're not sure, because apparently they were knockdowns instead of knockouts. Now, none of them would look good on him, but regardless. So, because the way I'm looking at this fight, guys, I don't know what you think, but the way I'm looking at it, it's this fight in a sense is a lose-lose for Jake Paul, because even if Jake Paul knocks out Anderson Silva in the first round, I mean, well, Anderson Silva, I think he's like 45 or some, I mean, or even 45, 46 years old, been long gone. He was an MMA fighter, never was known as a boxer, even though he has some experience in boxing early on in his career. I mean, he after he left MMA, he had two boxing match, one against another, fellow MMA fighter, Tito Ortiz, knocked him out very quickly, and the other one against Julio Chavez Jr., who is, a legit boxer or former boxer. But regardless, during this fight, he was not in best shape, of his life, when he fought Anderson Silva. And that's not to discredit Anderson Silva. I mean, Anderson Silva, again, I say, to me, he's like the greatest, the GOAT of MMA. So I know he's great, but to me, if Jake Paul just squeak out by squeak by a decision with Anderson Silva, I mean, that will really look bad on him. And if he gets knocked out or got decision by Anderson Silva, then we are going to truly be questioning his skill level, because Anderson Silva is an older guy. He's not his boxing is not his real home. So that should be something easily in the bag for Jake Paul. So basically, all the pressure is on Jake Paul, I would say. But anyway, so you guys, go in the comment section. Let me know, who do you think is going to win this fight between Anderson Silva and Jake Paul. Other notable names on that card is going to be Uriah Hall, another, recently retired MMA fighter from the UFC. He's going to fight, ex NFL player Levon Ball. So yeah, so I'm gonna be watching the fight, guys, and I'll come back to to talk to you about it. Other news in MMA, we have Jose Aldo, the king of Rio. He recently retired, and he just revealed that the UFC actually, when he was about to retire, offered him, because he had one last fight remain on his contract. They offered him, a last fight in Brazil and Rio. The UFC is going back to Rio since the pandemic, in January 2023 for UFC 283. So they wanted Jose Aldo to be on that card, and they even offered him an easier opponent. But Jose Aldo declined. He said he already made up his mind. He was going to retire, and he decided to retire. But anyways, regardless of whatever Jose Aldo decides to do from this point on, whether he wants to go do venture out, in boxing like a lot of MMA fighters have been doing, or he wants to do bare knuckle boxing, whichever he chooses to do, we wish Jose Aldo well, and yeah, he was a great representative for MMA. He was a great fighter, so we wish him well, in his retirement or whatever he decides to do afterwards. Other news, I saw Sean O'Malley. So Sean O'Malley kind of broke silence, on his fight, with Peter Yan. So during an episode on his YouTube channel, he talked about the fight. One thing he mentioned, and I'm going to paraphrase here, he said that people would have had a lot more respect for him if he had lost to Peter Yan. And I agree with him. I agree with him, because he explained that if he had lost, people would have been talking about how good he was and how well he did against Peter Yan. Because Sean O'Malley came way down from the rankings and moved up the ranks to fight Peter Yan, who is number one. Gave Aljamain Sterling, his hardest fights, and to where some people still even believe that he won the last fight. I didn't. I thought Aljamain Sterling won that fight very clearly. But anyways, so people thought that Peter Yan was going to run through Sean O'Malley, but Sean O'Malley did extremely well, and this guys explains to how good Sean O'Malley is. And but because Sean O'Malley won that decision, which is controversial, so all people kept talking about is how much of a robbery it was. So they couldn't see how good Sean O'Malley did. But Sean O'Malley said he went back and he looked at the fight, and now he truly believed that there was no controversy, that he clearly won 2 rounds of the 3 rounds. So so the result were fair. And but again, guys, I watched the fight, and I'm gonna go watch the fight again, because I wanna see for myself too. I wanna see whether that was a robbery or not. I wanna go back and watch it. But all I can say, when I was watching the fight, I knew Sean O'Malley put Peter Yan in some scary moments. So that definitely speaks volume in terms of how skilled Sean O'Malley is, and he's definitely a future champion. I don't know when, but he's pretty young. He's still well into his prime, so I'm pretty sure he will become a champion at some point. Obviously there are so many killers at the top of the division vying for that belt, so we'll have to see. But again, you remember doing my little matchmaking session, I said I wanted Sean O'Malley to rematch Chito Vera for a number one contender spot. Actually, I think another good match for him might be, Corey Sanhagen as well. So that would be a good fight too, to do a number one contender. And now, talking about number one contender, I saw Aljamain Sterling, make a statement. And again, guys, I want to put this out there. I love Aljamain Sterling. I think he's great, and I really think that He has, he's rightfully the owner of the belt, because I don't think at this point, if Aljamain Sterling, if he is on, it's his night. I don't think any of the guys, right now can beat him. So, but he mentioned, because during my matchmaking, I said he should be fighting, he should be fighting Henry Cejudo, and apparently the UFC is, kind of thinking of going this way to have him fight Henry Cejudo for the belt next. And he mentioned something about, like, it seems like the UFC might want him, might have some sort of a secret desire. And I'm paraphrasing here too, secret desire to see him lose, because he said the fight between Peter Yan and Sean O'Malley was supposed to be the for the number one contender to fight for the belt. um I don't know how, I just don't want people, because I love Aljamain Sterling. I just don't want people to think that he is trying to avoid tough opponent, because I don't know, when you make a declaration like this, I don't know how people are gonna think about it, because I think if you're at the top of the division, it doesn't matter who they throw at you. I mean, all those guys, they are in the division. Henry Cejudo, he was a two-time champion. He wants to come back. I think that's why we're doing my matchmaking. I think that was the fight that makes sense next for Aljamain Sterling, and I believe that Aljamain Sterling will be very competitive in that fight. And he will most likely win the fight against Henry Cejudo. Obviously Henry Cejudo is very good, but yeah. But that's what I think. So I think those two guys should fight. And please, guys, let me know in the comment section too, is if a fight, in a potential fight between Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo, who do you think will win? Um, the other thing in the MMA news is Jon Jones, guy. Jon Jones. Unfortunately, guys, for all the other MMA fans there, I'm heartbroken. I know you are heartbroken, because Jon Jones is not coming back. We're not gonna see Jon Jones fighting this year, because there has been a rumor going around for a little while now that Jon Jones might be fighting Stipe Miocic toward the end of the year, be making, his heavyweight, debut, against Stipe Miocic. Unfortunately, this is not going to happen, because I think the card they were talking about would have been UFC 282, and that card has been finalized, I believe. And Jiri Prochazka and Glover Teixeira are going to headline the card. So definitely, Jon Jones is gonna have to wait for next year. I'm not sure who he's gonna fight, but I'm sure, just like the rest of you guys, just like me, I'm sure the rest of you guys are really excited about to see about seeing Jon Jones coming back and fighting again. I mean, we definitely want to see him back. So hopefully it's gonna be early next year. I don't care who it is against, whether it's Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane, whoever, Stipe Miocic, whoever. We just would like to see Jon Jones, come back. So, yes, guys. So this is all the information, all the MMA news that I know. I'm gonna keep my ear open, and if I hear anything else, I'll come back and share with you guys. And please go to the comment section, share a comment with me. Let me know what you think about everything that's going on in the MMA world. Please like the channel, share this video, and also please, 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 guys, subscribe. So until I see you again, peace out.